Hello, everybody, and welcome to Milo's subsection. Enjoy.
Right, hello everybody. Yes, you find me back in Two Wheel Towers. God, dear, the weather is just atrocious. I was due to get my Classic 350 MOT again today because it's due its first MOT, and the trip, my little tour next week is going to run out sort of at the end. So I thought I'd better get it MOT. And I noticed in the Billies yesterday while it was raining in the car. I just said, "Can you do that tomorrow?" And they said, "Yeah, just drop it at any time." And I just sort of got up and went, "No." So I'm going to try and do that tomorrow. But because the rain's so bad and I've got so many things planned to do filming wise, and you forget sometimes that filming just gets curtailed. The things you want to do, so you've got to start thinking, what else can I do? And I've had this sitting on the system for a while. Luckily, it wasn't wiped out. So we're doing a Milo subsection. Now Milo obviously is not in there because didn't want to come into the towers because he's face planted in the sitting room, as you can see. I don't know why a cat can sleep like that. It's just bizarre, but there you are. But so thanks, Milo. We're doing it, for you. So I thought it'd be really nice to look at some of the bikes that I've had sent through. I'm still suffering with a cold, and gosh, I don't know how little hours of sleep I had again last night. It's terrible. But I thought we'd go through and have a look at some of the bikes. Some of the people that have already sent me stuff and sent me more stuff, which is great. So we're going slightly international this time. So that should be good. So first up, and this is quite interesting because I like to talk about some of the bikes and how they seem to be, growing in popularity at the moment. And this is Peter Holland. So Peter is one of the guys that lives in France, along with Chris and that, and actually live very close together. And they're near Mont Saint Michel. But Peter has got a scooter, and his Vespa, and it's called Tim. Do you? How many of you actually give names to your bikes? Karen does. I think we used to give it to our Land Rovers. It was sort of like a combination of the number plates or something like that. I think we've had Puff and all sorts of funny names on the bikes. I don't tend to. I'm a bit of a more like her and she, I suppose. It's very outdated, isn't it? But Pete's got the Vespa now. And that's a cracker, isn't it? You can tell Peter's done an awful lot of travelling on this bike. And they're very underrated as a touring option. And I know when I went out to, I travelled down through France and Spain before I crossed into Morocco. I saw quite a few scooter tours, and that's quite interesting. And I think it's that thing again, isn't it, of not having blistering speed, and it means you stay off the motorways and you get all the back roads and you can enjoy that side of the country. It's one thing to watch service stations going past and the rest of it, but you sort of you look off the motorway and you can see little towns and things. Oh, I wish I could nip through there, and it all becomes a bit of a rush. But I think when you're on bikes like this, I think it opens you up to taking the route less travelled these days, and I think that's really nice. And I'd like to get a go on a scooter. I haven't ridden a scooter for yonks, and Vespas and Lambretta and the rest of it. But I know that what were very popular sort of last year in reviews, and I didn't do one, but things like the Royal Alloy and stuff like that, which are sort of copies, aren't they? I don't want to insult anybody, but that's like anything Chinese, it's copying. But they were very popular, weren't they? And I think Royal Alloy didn't they do one with a sidecar? That must be an interesting prospect. But yeah, fantastic. What a lovely thing to have. The other bike Peter's got is the Classic 350. Now I think this is, if you lined up the Classic 350s and you had the red and chrome, which I always thought when that came out, I just thought that blew everything away. It was such a great looking bike, because you had the Gold Star, the BSA Gold Star come out, didn't you? Not dissimilar time, in the sort of chrome and red and all the rest of it. Was it chrome? Yeah, it was chrome red, wasn't it? And I just thought, wow, do you know what? I think Enfield have done it better. Well, I thought at the time anyway, and I still think that's one of the ones to have. And I think if you laid one of those up and then you had the signals, I've got a real soft spot for the signals. And the other colour I really like is the one I got, which is that sort of gunmetal grey. So it's sort of like a halfway house in it from the signals, I suppose. But they just don't. The funny things, you sort of say they age. Some things just, they're timeless, and I think that that red and chrome, God, it's so good. And when you look at the prices of some of these, such good value, such good bloody value. If you can have one bike, I don't know. As I keep saying, is it works, doesn't it? I think the red and chrome works, and the finish and everything, and the quality. I think when I first got to ride one of these, I did a test ride, and I got to ride one of these, and I was just bowled over by it. Just the looks of it alone, you can stand back. It's a bike you look back at, isn't it? So hopefully this coming year, I'm going to try and meet up with Peter and Chris and all the rest of it. I've still got my projects to go. I've still got my scrambler, which is completely on hold. I've got everything to do it, but the weather and everything is so bad, and being ill and all the rest of it. So we will get there. But that area, Mont Saint Michel, it's a fantastic place to go for a tour. And you could check out the tour me and Karen did last year. It was really, really good. So yeah, so thanks for those, Peter. It's really good to see those. But yeah, I'll do my damnedest to get down to you this year, and meet up, and it'll be a classic 350 rider, because I'm going to take my classic 350 down and bring the Meteor back. And the Meteor is I will actually sell the Meteor, because I don't say it's surplus requirements, but space-wise and all the rest of it, it's sort of served its purpose. But just so I can circulate the bikes a little bit more, and get on with the projects rather than have a bike sitting there. But that's to be seen. But that'd probably be the idea. So, staying with the international theme, we come on to Maurizio Galliano. So, what I liked about Maurizio is that he put on his emails about he treated these to himself as a Christmas birthday present. And it seems to be a theme, Maurizio, on most of your bikes. But he treated himself most recently to the GOANS 350 in the colour that I looked at down at Sykes Harley Enfield, if you remember. And what's actually interesting about their bike, you can see that they've left that protective blue coating on the white walls. You remember I pointed that out? Did you know? And the problem is when you look at it really closely, that coating, it doesn't, it's too poor to leave on there, and it'll come off with the first wash anyway. It's just like a protective coating. But God, it sort of blended the bike. It's really weird, and I really like that. But yeah, so Maurizio bought himself the bike, and you can see him actually sitting on this thing. It's what a great toy. What a great toy to tank around in, and I suppose in Italy it works really well, doesn't it? Maurizio actually lives in the hometown, not where he was born, but the hometown of Valentino Rossi, which is it Vuglia? Let me have a look. I'm terrible, I know. I've got to get this right. Tavuglia. So, excuse me, Maurizio, if I got that wrong. I can imagine that's quite interesting, because he's such a huge star in Italy, as you can understand. It's probably be interesting to know whether you get lots of bikers going there as a bit of a pilgrimage. But I can imagine that you attract a lot of attention whizzing around. These sold well, those GOANS, and a lot of people got in touch saying, I bought the GOAN. And I thought it would be not a disaster, but on looks alone, I thought no, people are just going to, it's just too much. But you've got to see that in the flesh, and in that colour. I was not a fan of the teal, I call it the teal, with the classic 650, it was too much. But in the GOAN, when you actually see it in the flesh, it's like, wow, it's a real wow moment. The other bikes that Maurizio had, which are really, really cool, it's quite a long time ago, isn't it, Maurizio, is the Cagiva. Do you call it Cagiva? These are interesting, aren't they, Cagiva? Because Cagiva are another one of those sort of like slightly mythical brands, I sort of think, that about and had quite a good reputation, and particularly, didn't they do a lot of Paris-Dakar stuff and things? But where I remember Cagiva from, I think this was another birthday present, or was it, military bikes as well, probably based on this one. And I think did I write that one down? Yeah, the 350 ET4 350. Is that I seem to remember that they had those in the Falklands. I think I might get that wrong, but didn't they have bikes like this, and they were all painted in that sort of mottled green? That's the sort of thing Bruce a Ghost Rider would know probably. I don't know why I say that, but I think you would. But yeah, interesting bikes, the CAGIVAS, and I think they had a very good reputation. And I think that's the sort of bike, if it was reintroduced, I think would do quite well because of that, the demand for sort of off-road enduro-y bikes, lightweight enduros now, which seems really popular. I was just watching Nathan the Postman this morning from my deathbed, where he's got the Reju. I can't remember, is it a 310 or something, which is huge in France and Spain, obviously. But you know, he was saying how good that bike was, and they're good value. I think they're although the engines are Lonson, they're mainly Chinese made, but I think Reju have got a really good reputation. But yeah, the CAGIVAS are, we don't see many here now, do we? But they pop up from time to time. You'll see them at an auto jumble. You'll see a CAGIVA. They didn't make a diesel one, did they? Who made the diesel one? There was a diesel bike like that in the army colours. I'm sure someone will tell me. And this is Maurizio and his other CAGIVA. So, yeah, fantastic. It's just they had that similar sort of style and sort of endurance, that workman-like quality that you had like from the early Transalps and stuff like that. And I think they're fantastic. These are sort of collectibles of the future, aren't they? Well, they're probably collectible now. And I think the engines are probably pretty robust. You know, they're not going to be fragile engines, I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, no, thanks for that, Maurizio. I know you waited a long time for me to put this out, because I think you sent me these sort of straight after the last one. But yeah, thanks for that. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying your going, because it's such a cool bike. What else have we got? Right, so coming even further away, even further away now, out to the States. So, Larry Sists has got this bike. Excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong. And this is, he sent me these pictures, and what really interested me about these pictures of his Kawasaki W650 is because of the tank. Now, when the tank on my W650 has got these big knee pads. Excuse me, these big knee pads. And they're quite deep, and they're not stuck on. They're actually in the tank itself. They've got sort of like welded on brackets that, you know, like when you put some side panels on motorbikes, they've got the sort of popper type plastic things, bungs that go into the rubber grommets. They're a little bit like that, and they stick in there. So of course, if you want to take those off to sort of tidy up the tank to make it a bit cleaner, you can't do that. You gotta break the flipping grind off those brackets. And what Larry's done, because he used to do a lot of custom bikes, as he told me. He ground those off, so that was quite a straightforward job for him. And do you know what? It bloody cleans up the bike. And that's what I'd like to do with mine. I'd really like to take those tank pads off when I do my work on it. And I just like the much cleaner line. It doesn't look so clunky. The W650 is very much, it's built in that sort of Triumph tradition a little bit when you look at it. But there's stuff which is very Japanese. I know I said this the other day about, you know, BMWs and Rouge leather, innit? It's a bit of its time, and it didn't make it easy. You know, when you look at Triumphs and that, the badges are screwed on, and you can take them off, and there's just holes in the tank, and they're easy to customise. These is a bit more complex, but I really like that. The finish that you got on these tank there, it's really cool, and you can see there how streamlined it is. The other thing I like is you've got the wide bars, the wide sort of higher up bars. Now I've got a set similar to that, which I want to put on. I just like that, even though on my bike the bars are sort of fairly straight, and you'd think it'd be quite lean forward, but it's sort of not. It does actually work, but I want that I want that sort of Fonz look. Do you know what I mean? When you're sort of riding along and it's a bit more up and that. I always keep trying to recreate the feeling I had with my Thunderbird 900, my Triumph. That had the greatest bar position. They were American style bars, which those are. And I just think it has a nice. When you sit on it, it changes your whole attitude to the bike and how you're going to ride. And I always think that's really important for me. But I'll never get it to the quality of the paint and the finish. Oh, there's no way I'm going to be polishing up. I do think about doing the engine casings black and stuff like that. Maybe it's something I'll do over a period of time, but yeah, God, the rain is coming down. It's absolutely shocking. So that's the plan. But yeah, lovely. Thanks for those, Larry. They're really great. I've got the piggyback suspension to put on mine, which came off the Interceptor. So yeah, I'm interested how it looks and the different seat cover and all the rest of it. But yeah, beautiful, really beautiful. And I like that engine. I just think it's a good engine, but I've still got to sort out the carburetors. Right, we're coming back to home now. So John Fitchie. So we've got some moving images now. So John quite often messages me, emails me with stuff that he's doing and all the rest of it, and took great pity on me when I lost the channel for a few days. And he sent me some pictures of one of the bike shows he went, and I think it was pouring rain anyway because we had such bad weather. But yeah, so John has bought a Triton. Now the thing with Tritons, I as time goes on, I get more and more attracted to those bikes, and I just think there's a lot of them. There's a lot of those featherbed frames out there that have been used in all sorts of stuff, and I think probably the cost to buy one now, an original second-hand, is probably quite a lot. But it's such an interesting world, isn't it? The Triton only really means that it's got the featherbed, the Triumph engine and the Norton frame. And if you watch my video with Dave at the weekend, you'll see the one he built with bits from a Ducati and was it a Triumph Trident 1050 and all the rest of it. Such a cool bike, and that had such a beautiful paint job on it. But John's bike that he treated himself to, I think John said, what did John say? He said something on here. His wife went out to buy some shoes and he has a classic distraction technique, and then went off and bought a bike. Nice John. And that's what we do in it, So here's, darling, you have lovely shoes. There you go, set some shoes, and I'm just nipping off to grab a coffee. Yeah, and you're on the phone, aren't you? Yeah, get me that bike, drop it round tomorrow. I can remember that many donkeys years ago, and I used to buy like Land Rovers and stuff like that, and I had a secret garage. I had a secret garage with a Series 3 in it, and no one knew anything about it. It's just me and my mate Clive. We'd go around and I'd get my Series 3 out and go for a drive in it. Those days are long gone. But yes, I don't think you could get this one quiet, John. But yeah, these are the pictures off the website where he bought his bike, and this is a company that does a lot of bikes with DR Customs or DR Classics. But there's just something about a bike like that, isn't it? It's an event bike, isn't it? And it's a bike that I don't know, there's just something really cool about getting on a bike like that, learning how it wants to be started. I do that with my Tiger. Getting it right, setting the choke, where barely needs any choke anyway, setting the choke right, make sure you tickle enough and get it to the right point, bite point, and kick it, and bang, it's going to start. And that's the beauty of these. And then when it does start, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything like a classic British twin, and most people say that, don't they? They're just fantastic bikes. Yeah, I love a one like this. I love a bike like that. And I just think because you get the featherbeds, you get I think is it the wide frame and the narrow frame. But what a great piece of kit. So you're a very lucky man, John, and obviously you're still married. Do you know the bit I like about? I've always wanted one of these. You get the front brakes, and they have the vent in. They're drum brakes, and you get that vent. That's such a cool look, because it harks back to an era, wasn't it, when you know, we were really pushing those things to the limit, and we had to sort of find a way out, you know, because they're also derived from sort of racing and Manx and all that sort of stuff. And you think you've got to be able to call the brakes. How are we going to do this? My God, the brakes are over. Might just put a vent in it. And it's that classic engineering, isn't it? It's like do engineering. How are we going to do it? Right, it's simple. We don't have to make it look beautiful, but they end up looking beautiful, don't they? I think they're really cool. Right, that's it really. I've sort of waffled on enough. But yeah, there are some other bikes, and I'm going to keep those for another day. But thanks for all the guys that send me pictures of bikes and all the rest of it. You know, and if you want to send me some more, we'll do another one. This is only the second one, isn't it? Second or third one. We did one from France, didn't we? And that. But I'll keep them stored up. And when I get like a rainy day like today and I can't get out, then I'll put them together, because I've got some more pictures from Mike Hurley and stuff like that. So that'd be great. I'm saving Mike's one. He sent me a picture of his XS950, I think it is, something like that. I really like this bike, so I'll keep that for my next Milo subsection. Right, I'm going to go back indoors and you know, collapse slightly, have a cup of tea, and have some, you know, chicken broth. And I'll see you in the next one. I've got several episodes planned, and I'm supposed to be testing a bike on Friday, but if it's pouring with rain, I'm hoping that I can do something else with the bikes, and it's about discussing certain bikes which are now obsolete, but will work as maybe not a good investment, but something like Bitcoin, but will work as a you know, maybe they're worth looking at now because the prices are low, and looking at the last variants of those. So hopefully I'll do that for Friday. And then I've got my little tour. So I've got to fit all this stuff in and see where I shuffle it in. Right, I'll leave you to it. Have a great weekend, the rest of the weekend. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care, everybody. See you soon.